Mindenkit. Egyelőre 4-en vagyunk. Faluhelyi Gábor vagyok, többségükkel már találkoztam. Köszönöm szépen, hogy részt vesznek a mai webinárunkon. Szót mondok a Carestream vállalatról. Ez egy több mint 100 éves múlttal rendelkező cég. Jelenleg ők a piacvezetők a konvincéték és a panoráma röntgenek piacán. Körülbelül 2012 óta gyártanak saját fejlesztésű CAD/CAM termékeket, és az egyik piacvezetők szintén az orál szkennereknek a termékek között. A mai program az új intraorális szkennerükről szól majd, ez a CS 3800 névre hallgat. A bemutatót Németországból tartja Stefan Haupt kollega, úgyhogy a prezentáció az angol nyelven fog zajlani. Ha bárkinek kérdése van, a jobb oldalt, legalábbis nekem a jobb oldalt van egy ilyen üzenetküldési lehetőség, ott tudnak írni, illetve a legvégén bekapcsoljuk majd a mikrofon, illetve a mikrofon bekapcsolásának a lehetőségét fogjuk aktiválni. Akkor majd, ha rákattintanak a mikrofonban, akkor élőben is lehet kérdezni. Úgyhogy át is adom a szót Stefannak. Stefan, I'm going to hand you to continue the webinar.
Okay. Gabor, I didn't understand the word, to be honest, of course, because my Hungarian is not available. Hello, everybody. I hope it's okay that I do this presentation in English. And welcome from my side, from Carestream Dental. My name is Stefan Haupt. I am application specialist, and I do support the sales with trainings, product trainings, software trainings, congresses and stuff like this. And today I want to show you a little bit more details about our brand new CS3800 wireless intraoral scanner. If you do miss any information because your English is not so good or my pronunciation is not so proper, please ask Gabor. You can always send a chat either to him or to all. If questions are coming up, just write them down in the chat or in the questions. And at the end of my session, which will last around 40 minutes, you will have the chance also to speak if you prefer that. Okay, so first of all, I would show you some basic information about the scanner, and a few minutes later, I will start with a live session. Okay, so let's start with the presentation of the facts. Read them at your fingertips, of course, because this is a Wi-Fi scanner. Our first Wi-Fi scanner. There are only 2 brands in the market which do offer Wi-Fi scanners. It's 3Shape and Carestream, and we will see, or we'll talk about the differences later. Okay, so as you can see here, the scanner is very compact and sleek and lightweight, and you can hold him like a pen, which you can't do with some of other brands because they are too heavy. You can hold it in the so-called palm grip, however you like, and you can see that you have easy access to the buttons. This is a change that we did to the previous models where we had the buttons in the back of the scanner, because we added some functionalities to the buttons. That's what you will see later, maybe in the presentation, but at the end in the live presentation anyway. Without a power cord, the CS3800 finds a natural balance in the palm. Yeah, of course, I cannot show it to you right now, but it's really light and really compact, very nice. Okay. What comes with the scanner? We have 3 charging possibilities. So you will never run out of power, which is the most important thing if you are using a battery-powered unit. On the left side, you can see the so-called docking station or charging station. And while you are scanning, you can put the scanner back all the time into the charging station if it's connected to the wall plug. And so there is power on the docking station. It will be charging all the time if it's in the charging station, which means that normally you will not use any additional battery. But the scanner is coming with 2 batteries, so that even if you're running out of battery, you have a spare one that you can put to the scanner very easily. and then restart the scanner. And the second option is the charger, which is optional, but from my perspective and from my experience, for normal practices, it's not necessary to have this charger. If you want, of course, you can get it, but if you are charging the scanner while you are not scanning and you have the second battery as a spare, if you're not scanning all the time, I think it's not necessary, but there is this option to buy it as an option with 1 or 2 or however you want batteries, how many you want. And finally, if you only have 2 batteries and they are both empty for some reason, you always have this backup power cable, which is coming with a scanner free of charge. You can just connect the cable and the scanner will be powered up again and running and working as usual, except from this cord in the back. The docking station, the charger is like you can see it here. You can see the blue light here on the left side, on the bottom, on the top of the charger, which tells you if it's blinking, the battery is more than 50% but not fully charged. If it's stable, not blinking, the battery is fully charged. If it's blinking yellow, the battery is below 50%. So this gives you an idea how far the charging has come. On the right side, you just use it as a holder, just put the scanner on it, and of course it will not be charged at this moment. The time with a full battery, you can use the scanner for 1 hour scanning, full scanning, not only having it on and off, but full scanning 1 hour approximately. And this is much more than our competitors have. With the Trios 4, you have around 40 minutes. With Trios 3, you have around 30 minutes. While with Trios 3, it takes 10 minutes until the scanner is ready. So there's 20 minutes left. We have 60 minutes and no need to remove the battery to charge it. Just put the scanner in the docking station. Very nice. Okay, this is something about the charger. The indication is quite similar to what you can see on the docking station. Blinking orange when the battery is nearly empty, so which means below 50%, blinking blue when it's above 50%. Display still blue when the battery is fully charged, and it takes approximately 2 hours to fully charge the battery. If you charge 2 batteries at the same time, it takes a little bit more. As you can see in the bottom, I think it's around almost 3 hours because the current is going down. Okay, but as these are all additional batteries, I think it's more than enough. Here you can see how it works with the cable. You have the charging station and it's connected to the wall plug, and instead of putting the scanner inside to charge the battery, you can just connect the cable on the other side of the docking station, connect the scanner, and then go on scanning. The cable is 2 meters long, so should be more than suitable. Okay, 3 tip sizes. Autoclavable up to 110 times. Autoclavable up to 110 times does not mean that after 110 times the tip is broken. But well, if you have autoclaved it so many times, of course, it degrades more and more. So maybe someday the mirror is it's a little bit blind, or the edges of the mirror are loose, or whatever happens. So we say you can autoclave it at least 110 times. And what is really nice, and also one of our unique selling points, is that you have this very small tip that you can see in the back. This is a tip for example, for kids or for hard to reach areas like distal area of the tooth number 7 or 8. And the idea is to use the normal tips, side tip, as you can see here, or the normal tip in the front, to do the most of the scan. And for those areas that you cannot reach, could also be preparations, very deep or so, then you can just use the small tip. And nobody else in the market has this solution. Nobody has a solution where you can, while you're scanning, you just remove the tip and add a smaller tip. Nobody can do it. Of course, there are scanners in the market with small tips, but then the precision of the scanners is much worse than with our units. Okay, any questions so far? Please write in the chat. Gabo will have a look on it. As you can see, we have improved the depth of field for the new scanner for around 50% compared to the previous units. So that means 21 millimeters. So we are on the same range as, for example, the Prime Scan, so the top scanners in the market. So we are among them with a depth of field, which is a very important thing. With a higher depth of field, the CS3800 is able to capture with ease various configurations of emergence profiles. For example, this is one application, emergence profiles, which could be quite deep. And we will see a video example with the next slide. You can see on the left the emergence profile. Can you see how easy you get it? This is much better than with units or systems where you only have around 15 millimeters, like with our previous cable models, and also like with the Trios 3 or so, same. So with the 3800, you can easily have this emergence profile here. So this is really amazing. And it's the same with preparations and that depth, okay? Okay, how do we set up the scanner, Wi-Fi scanner? Very complicated, setting up channels, stuff like that? No, very easy. I can just show you this video. This comes, if you start the scanner, you can see this video. Just switch on the scanner so that the blue light is on, and then just connect the Wi-Fi dongle to the PC. You can see the blue light on the Wi-Fi dongle. Just add a tip to the scanner, put the battery into the scanner, and that's it. And then you have to select the scanner in the software. Of course, first you have to switch it on. And it's up and running after a few seconds. It's always the same video, sorry. I thought they would also talk about the software side. You can see it here. This is the Wi-Fi dongle directly connected to the laptop. There's also an extension like an adapter, which you can see on the right side, which could also be used, because for me personally, I don't like this solution here, because if you take the laptop from one place to another and you just hit something with this USB, it's broken. So it's better to use this, which is also included in the scanner box, this extension. It's a TP-Link connection, very reliable. It's fast and easy point-to-point. That means there's no need to integrate it to your practice Wi-Fi or whatever. It's a separate point-to-point connection. No security problems. It's very stable, very wide area where you can work. Battery life, this means, of course, the scanner, 5 to 8 patients. Of course, this depends on what you are doing with the patients. I said 1 hour scanning. And what is really nice with the Wi-Fi connection, you can move from one chair or from one room to another just by taking the USB and connecting it to the next PC. Or if you have one Wi-Fi dongle for each PC, 3 or 4, you can just disconnect in one room, just disconnect the scanner by clicking 2 buttons. Then you go to the next room, connect it, and start scanning. Very, very simple, very reliable. No hassle with channels set up or something like that. That's what it looks like in the software. You can see the list of scanners which are available, which could be seen by the dongle or which are directly connected. You see the yellow star, so this scanner is selected and you just start scanning. What I just mentioned at the beginning, the handpiece button have more functions and this gesture motion control, what we say is magic wand. And later on you will see why is it named like this. That's what you can do by moving the scanner. You can see it on the bottom left corner. You can move your model, your object, and have a look on it. And by clicking on the power button, you can zoom it. So it's getting larger, bigger, and then you can have a closer look. And then you can see where you have to rescan. But we'll do that in the live presentation, of course. Okay, validated partners. There's really a lot, as you can see. And if somebody's not on this list, it does not mean that it does not work with our data, with our scanner, with our STL files. Because except from Invisalign, I think there's no brand nor company which cannot use our data. And we have different stages of integration. For example, with where is it? With Exocard, we have a very deep integration. With OnyxSafe, we have a very deep integration. So there are differences, but at least you can send STL data to every other company. That's what always working. Okay, so far with the theory, let's go to practice. You can see our imaging software. We can have our patient next dental webinar. Before we start, Gabor, is there any questions in the chat or something?
Not so far.
Okay, good. So I would suggest to start. I will show you a very common workflow. Of course, there is my patient, and I start this. I select the scanner. So the scanner software is going to open. And then the first thing I will do, I have to decide whether I want to use the scanning mode or the import function. Of course, we start with the scanning mode because we have no data so far. I have a full jaw which I want to scan. Is a new patient coming to my practice, and now I want to digitize him to have his teeth as digital data to later have a look on it. So you can see the scanner. I just click the power button, then it starts scanning. I just go to the surface of the teeth, the occlusion, and then I start with the scan. And as you can see in position 4-6, I have put a crown on a prep because I want to show this to you later in an additional workflow. So let's assume this is still a normal tooth for later. And now, as I have scanned so far, I just remove the scanner and then I click and hold the mode button. So I will come to this magic wand mode, to this review mode, and now I can have a look at the model. And with the power button, I can zoom. Okay, and now I see where my holes are, I still have to rescan in some areas. Okay. So if I go back, I press the mode button again for 3 seconds, then I'm back in the normal scanning mode and I see something else. Maybe somebody of you has already seen it because I have selected the upper jaw, but I've scanned the lower jaw. With some brands, this is really a nightmare to correct this failure. With our software, it's just one mouse click. I click here and that's it. Now I'm okay. I have selected the lower jaw and I have a lower jaw. I take the scanner again, start the scanning and rescan the areas which are still not perfect. Of course, it's up to me to decide which areas and which positions I really need and very perfect scanning, or if this is just the antagonist jaw or whatever. So I would say this is okay for me so far. So I can switch to the next jaw. I just click the mode button to change to the upper jaw and scan the upper jaw. And this is again quite fast. Of course, on a model, it's not that challenging. Anyway, with some scanners, you can see already here some issues, especially if there is a scanning protocol and you do not follow the protocol. With Carestream, you don't have any scanning protocol. You can scan however you like, but the software is checking that there are no failures in the scan. So as you can see here now, it's already been corrected by the software. If there are some bad areas, there will be an arrow showing up, and the arrow tells you that you have to rescan in that area. Okay, so what I want to show you as well is the intraoral camera mode. It's on the live window here, the left button, this one is intraoral camera. I just click on it. And then I can see a live window and I can see the images. Okay, and I can, just by clicking on the power button, I save this image. Okay, and of course I can save whatever I like. And you see the image quality is very, very good. If you want to go back to the normal scanning mode, just click the mode button again and you are back in the scanning mode. So next step after having scanned the upper jaw and the lower jaw, of course, is the bite. So I click the mode button again and I can see the bite registration. So the scanner is on automatically. And now I let the patient bite quite naturally, not too much pressure. And then I go to the buccal area and just move the scanner up and down. It's a little bit strange now. There you are. Usually it's faster. So I have captured the bite in one position, and we recommend to capture the bite in 3 positions. So we go to the other side, rescan. That's what I'm used to. Okay, and we also recommend a 3rd position in the front if the overlap is not too big. If you have too much overlap, you go to the canine and do the scanning there. Okay, so I have captured 3 bites. And I can have a look at the bites on the left here. I can check them. And because I want to show you something, I just remove the last one. Just put it to the trash. And now you can see in the bottom, there are 5 buttons. And this means that you can add additional bites, like a functional bite, a lifted bite, lateral protrusion, left, right, whatever you want. If you want to add something, I can just click on it. And just need some material. So let's say I do a functional bite like this. And I capture this bite as well. Okay. And now I have 2 different bite situations. I can also change the name of it to functional, for example. And now, assume you are still on the patient, you have still taken your bites. Of course, you need some assistance to add this name or something like that. But usually if you just have the normal occlusion, you're still at the patient, you're still scanning, and now you want to go to the post-processing. And with the scanner, with this model, you can start the post-processing from the scanner. You just go here, press the well-known mode button again for 3 seconds, and the software jumps to the calculation of the model, to the post-processing, to the refining. And that's why I removed one of the bites, because now it stops the refinement, because it says there's only 2 bite captures for the occlusion. We recommend 3. But you are the boss of the software. If you say it's okay, you can go on. If you say, oh, I have to capture another bite, you press the power button again, and you are back in the scanning. Very simple. So no need to go back to the laptop, touch the mouse, touch the keyboard. You can do everything from the scanner. I do it again now. Same situation. And now I press not the power button, but the mode button, and then the refinement starts. So far, no need to go back to the laptop, touch anything like mouse or keyboard. Until now, until the calculation is done, you can do everything from the scanner. This is new, and this is what I really like. Okay, 70% more or less approximately, then the bite calculation starts. So the first 75% approximately is the calculation of the model itself. And then it's calculating the bite. And that's what you can see right now is the final model. Okay, and of course, as I have this crown here, which I removed during taking the bite, you have this intrusion here. But you can have a look at where the contact points of your bite are. You can see here's a strong contact, as I said, because I have this crown, which is a little bit too high. But for the rest, you can see if the bite is like it should be, because you know your patient. If the patient doesn't have an open bite and you have no contact here, you know that something went wrong. But the calculation of the bite is working quite well. Okay, so we have taken the bite. What else can we do? Of course, we can do measurements, but we will do that later with a second scan. You can do this so-called quadrant snapshot, which is very nice for ortho. Yeah, you can see here all the pictures, and if you press the save button, of course you can uncheck images if you don't want to save them. But if you say, okay, this is really nice, I want to save it, all these pictures, one overview and every picture for itself are added to the patient's folder. Okay, so now more or less we are done. of course, you can also, if you want, you can add a base to the model. For example, if you want to print it, if you have a 3D printer in your practice and to show it to the patient, or for whatever reason you want to print this model, you can do it. You can just use your software and it calculates your base. And if you save this, I don't save it now, but if you say yes, save, then you will have another STL for the model, for the base, and then you can print it. Okay, the last step is the export step, where you can say, what do I want to do? I want to use the cloud to send it, or I want to save it as an STL or whatever. Usually I recommend to use the cloud. It's even better than using Dropbox, WeTransfer, whatever, because this is GDPR proof. No patient data are going to be sent, just case numbers. So this is GDPR. And also the server is located in Ireland within the EU. For example, there is a competitor who is using Amazon servers, which are located in the EU as well, but they are mirrored in the US. So this, I think this is not really GDPR. Okay, you can see my labs here. I have my lab here, but I don't want to send it right now. I will do that later because I will add a scan later. So I don't have to do something here. As soon as I am here, the scan has been refined, I can close the software. And if I close the software, I'm prompted what I want to save. I want to save the raw data of the scan and I want to save the output, the model. I say yes, okay. I want to save it and exit. And after saving this, I'm getting back to the imaging software where I can see the preview of my model. As the raw data is a little bit really big file, a few hundred megabytes, because it contains all the images that I've taken, hundreds and thousands of images. It takes a few seconds to save it, but then I'm back in my imaging software, and in a few seconds I will see the preview of my model here. Okay, so there we are. We have this model here. You can see the preview on the right side, and we can see all the additional images that we took. So the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the overview of the quadrant snapshot, and then every view, and also the 2 images that we took directly from the intraoral camera functionality. Okay, so if we want, of course, we can also do everything from here. We can say we want to send it to CS Connect, we want to send it to SMOP, or we want to open it in ExoCut or whatever. But I will show you another functionality of our scanner, not only 3800, but more or less a capability of the software. I go back to scanning. Let's assume the scan that we did is now, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago. We have the situation of the patient and we need to do prosthetics on the 4.6, a prep on the 4.6. So instead of scanning everything again and scanning the bite or capturing the bite while the patient has already been grinded, teeth, and so on, and is stressed, we just use the import functionality and take this bite here, this scan, the last one that we did a few minutes ago, and reload this scan. So you will see that we will get back to the software with the data where we stopped with the previous scan, or when we had the software open for the last time. Same again, a few hundred megabytes, so it takes a few seconds to load all these data, but you can see the benefit very soon, what we can do here. So we have our scan, and now we can decide. We go to the lower jaw because this is the region that we want to know. We have our tooth here, which is defective. We need to have a crown on it. So now we can decide whether we just cut here and then rescan and have the prep, or if we say, we want to have the crown as well, the information about the crown, we add a scan with a plus, and we say this is a preparation scan that we are going to add. And then we go on the bottom from the Z2 scan to the prep scan. And so the software creates a copy of the original scan. So now we are working on the copy and we keep this information about the tooth if we want. So let's do it again. We cut the area And I would always prefer to cut it. I know that it's also working if we just over scanning, but I would prefer to cut the area. And now I take out the scanner and start scanning again. Just rescan, and then we have the prep. Okay. Of course, we need this distal surface. Yeah, we got it. And there is some more functionalities which make life easier if we have to scan preps. For example, compared to an analog impression, if you have several preps on one arch, like we have here, and we have subgingival preps, more of them, you have to remove all the cords. You have to remove the cord starting here, going to the other side, and if you remove the last cord, the situation here is already has become worse. With digital, you can just remove one cord, work on this prep. If everything is done, lock the prep and go to the next one. For example, let's assume with this prep, it has worked very well, but we have an area here in the mesial where the margin line is not good. So what we can do, we can use the locking feature just to lock the whole prep, which we captured quite well, and leave open only this area where we want to improve. Okay, so let's assume here's some blood. You lock everything, you take the air flow, just put the blood away, restart scanning, go to that area again and scan again. And if you are happy, okay, say good, and then you lock the rest. Go to the next prep. Okay, after having done the next prep, you lock it also, so nothing can happen to this prep. And then you go to the next one, and so on and so on. For example, if you want to do this prep here, it's dangerous, because if you move the scanner too deep into the mouth, you spoil this one. If it's locked, nothing can happen. Very nice feature. Just to give you an idea how to use it. Okay, so now we have done the preps, and now we can go to the refinement again. Okay, because on the upper jaw there is nothing. I'll just say refine. And as I said, no need to capture the bite again. For example, if you have a preparation which has an impact on the occlusion, which could happen if it's the last tooth or so, it's much better to have the bite from a previous scan where everything was not grinded or grinded. Okay, so we do the calculation again. And now we have two models. We have the model before prep, and we have the model after prep. As you can see here, before prep, after prep. Here's the crown, here's the prep. And of course, if you remove the upper jaw, you can easily see, you can easily see this if you use this mode here. If you select the preparation scan, you also have this mode here, the split screen view, and then you can have both in one view. So you can directly compare. This is the information for the lab, how it looked before we prepped. Maybe they want to design the new tooth as it was before, and here you have your prep. What else can we do? For example, we can check the distance to the antagonist, which is quite important. Okay, so we click on measurement. We just select the location of the preparation, which is here. The software adds a cutting plane in this region. We can rotate the plane. And you can see on the right side, you can see the profile. So we go to the position where we have the least distance. And we can also move the plane. So I think here we have the least distance. We scroll so that we can see it better. And then we do a measurement here. Okay. And we can see, oh, 1 millimeter is not enough. It's not sufficient. So what can we do? First of all, we do a documentation. We just do a screenshot for ourselves. It's in the patient's file, and then we go back and regrind, rework on the preparation, and then do the same again. So no problem. Just go back to the scan. Of course, you have to remove the lock if it's still on. Otherwise, it will not work. You just go here and say, okay, unlock all. And then you can regrind and then scan again. Let's assume you have scanned again, and then we go again to the calculation. And then we do our measurement again. And so we are safe. Of course, now the result would be the same, makes no sense. But that's the idea, to check the distance to the antagonist. What else can we do? We can superimpose these two scans with this button. And then we can see, this is the wrong arch. Okay, just a second. Okay. Check superimposition, we check the location. And then we see on the right side how the tooth was before we started with the preparation and how it is now. And we can check if this is what we want to have. If there is an area where it's very thin and we want to have the same shape, we can see that we have to rework the prep. Or in this case, we can say, yeah, everything looks nice. That's okay. Good. So if we are done now, we can now send the whole scan to the lab via CS Connect. So we just go to export. We select a lab, which is my own one, this one here, and we say send. This is very easy, so I would suggest that you could use it. It does not cost anything. Also for the lab side, there is no costs, and it's safe and it's easy. Of course, before sending it, we have to save the data again. In this case, I cannot choose that I don't want to save the raw data, but it's okay. I will save the raw data again, including the prep scan, and it takes a few seconds. And then the software starts the CS Connect web page, as we'll see very soon. And we can log in, or I am already logged in, so it should not prompt me for a login at this moment. We'll see in a few seconds. Of course, I'm working online at the moment, but you can also be offline with your PC. There's no need to be online with a PC to be able to scan, to save the data. It's not necessary. You can work offline. It's not possible with many, many competitors. Okay, I access the service, which means I log in. Okay, and now I see, oh, I don't see, I don't know why. Okay. I go back to the CS imaging software. This is the case that I just did, the dual scan. I try again from here to log in. And there we are, webinar Next Dental, unsubmitted case. This is the case that we just did. We just have a preview here. And I can now click on upload. And my lab is already pre-selected. Yeah. But of course, I can change my mind and select any other lab that I have as a partner. And now I can say I want to use the web form or the file form, which means file form is very simple. I can just add a comment, attach files manually, accept the terms, and then start. But I can also use the web form, which means the lab has defined a form where I have to give information. I can show you if I say next now. My lab wants to know which tooth is it? Okay, 4-6. Which restorative work? It's a crown. By the way, all this information that you can see here is going to be defined by the lab. So they can define what they want to get as an information from you. Okay, I click next. Now I'm prompted for, well, all ceramic material is okay. A contact strength. occlusion clearance, let's say light, interproximal contact, medium, gingival abrasion, natural. Okay. And final information about the shade, say it's all 3.5, whatever. And now there's a summary of all this information. And if I accept the terms, I can send it to the lab. And now it's uploaded. You can see it's pending at the moment. It's transferring now. And now it's transferred. And as soon as it's transferred, you have these two buttons here. And these are, by the way, the same as from the lab. They will see the same buttons. And with the first button, you can, same as the lab, have a quick view on the model in the so-called web viewer. And if you want, you can talk with your lab about this. Okay, so you can have a look. Of course, you can mandible. Okay, you can talk with your lab about this. And I can show you how the lab side looks. I'll just use a different browser. Because if I am on the same PC and the same browser as a lab and as a dentist, it's a little bit confusing. So that's why I use a new login now with a new browser, and I log in as the lab, my lab, so that you can see that the lab view is very, very similar with some slight differences. Okay. Okay. And you see now this case, and you see the difference. You just see the case number. If we check at the practice side, you can see the patient's name and the case number. And here you just have the case number. And you have the summary of all the information we gave, shade, tooth number, material, all that stuff. And of course, we have the same web viewer. And now the lab can download the case. And as soon as they click on download, they can select which format they want. STL, very basic format. PLY, also quite basic, but including color. Xorder or dental project for exocad, including all the files they need for exocad, including if you want the margin line, if you want to draw a margin line, if you want to give some information about the margin line to the lab, you can add a margin line, and this added margin line will also be transferred to the lab, which is very, very important, or could be important if you want to use that. OBG for dental wings or other applications like printing. Okay, so if I, as a lab, say download, let's assume dental project, or I think maybe it's too many files. We will just use STL, very basic. We see that download has been requested. It takes a few seconds to convert this file to STL, and in a few seconds we will see that the file will be downloaded. And you have the status transferred. If I update it, and as soon as it's downloaded, you can see now it's consulted. And you can filter here to the consulted files, and then you know that the lab has already downloaded the case. Okay. So if I check for, what is this? Oh, strange. Okay. We can do it from the other side, from the sender as well. You yourself can also use this to convert the file to, let's say, dental project for exocad or whatever. Okay, we say STL, same again. Okay, so let's have a look at the downloads. A few seconds it takes. Any questions so far about CS Connect, about the scanning software, about the idea to import a scan, to redo some work on it, to add a scan, whatever? Gabor, is there any questions in the chat?
Not yet. Még egyszer, hogyha valakinek van kérdése, akkor itt van ez a questions rész, oda nyugodtan lehet írni, illetve a legvégén majd lehetővé tesszük, hogy bekapcsolhassák a mikrofonokat. De addig is, hogyha írnak, akkor tudunk válaszolni.
Okay, so now let's have a look at what we got. It's really a lot. We have, of course, this picture here, which is what we saved. Okay, and we have a lot of scans because we have the normal scan, maxillary, and by the way, you can see now the email for the lab that data have been sent. You have the upper jaw and you have the lower jaw normal bite. And I can just open those two with the mesh viewer. And you can see our natural occlusion, everything is nice. But of course, we also have, if you want, maxilla and functional bite. We can open these two to make the difference visible. Now, oh, I selected the wrong file. So bite average functional is not correct. Mandibular scan function, this one. Okay. And then you will see the functional bite that we took. See, now it's open and protruded. Okay, so you have all the information, the lab has all the information it wants via the cloud. And of course, there's the bite itself. That's what we just saw here. The bite that we took. For some software, they can use it. If you don't want to use it, you don't need to create it, of course. Okay, so let's get back here. I think I've covered most of it. Gabor, is there anything that I missed that you want me to show the people? Or what do you think?
Yeah, basically that's important.
Maybe we should talk about some more functionalities, a little bit more into deep about the software, or what do you think? Because I think we have another 2-3 minutes for questions that I could show right now in the software, and then I would open the session for questions. So if there's nothing in the chat, and I think there is not.
No.
Okay, so I would suggest that I open the microphone so that everybody, if you want, you can now open your microphone and raise a question, speaking to us, talking to us, and looking forward for your questions or comments, whatever. And if you want me to show you something more, please go ahead.
Yeah. So did you open already?
Yeah, I opened the microphones already. So everybody can open his or her microphone and start talking.
Akkor megnyitottam most, Stefán, a beszélési lehetőséget. Ezt úgy lehet, hogy van ez a mikrofon gomb arra rákattintva, akkor lehet kérdéseket feltenni. Angolul is, vagy magyarul is, ha magyarul, akkor fordítok. Úgyhogy nem tudom, hogy volt-e bármelyik részével a folyamatnak kérdés, vagy olyan rész, ami nem lenne még világos. Esetleg a labor kapcsolódással van-e kérdés? Ugye azt biztosan hallották, hogy nyitott a rendszer, tehát amiket itt feltöltött, azt gyakorlatilag automatikusan így tovább lehet küldeni a labornak, akár STL, akár ÉLY formátumban. Jó.
No,
so
any
far
no comments?
Yep.
Stefan, I would have a question.
Yeah,
Robert,
sure.
I'm the trade marketing manager here at Carestream, and I was with Stefan 2 weeks ago at a congress, and there are a lot of people are always asking about regarding the costs if we invest in this technology. So do we have any following costs? So because a lot of systems, they asking you and charging you if for an upgrade or an update or if you, so, and how is that at Carestream Dental? So can you say something about that?
Yeah, sure. Very good question, Robert. Very good question. There is no such costs like service charge or whatever. Yeah, we don't have something like that. Just a second, I want to show how to open this in exocad just to show the integration. There is no annual costs, no annual fees for service, for updates. All the updates which are coming, normally 1 to 2 per year, are done automatically and free of charge. So this will also be functional, more functions in the software, and of course also bug fixes, something like that is all included and all coming free of charge. And what we can have, if we want to spend some extra money at the beginning, we can extend the warranty from 2 years to 5, which is not offered by any other brand or company. Yeah, usually they have 1 year, you can extend it to 3, but we have 2 years and you can extend to 5, which is really nice. Okay.
Yeah, Stefan, let me say something about that.
Yeah, sure.
Magyarul mondom, a Magyarországon az összes szkennert, amit árultunk, az 5 év garanciával adjuk. Ez egy nagyon nagy értékű készülék, ezért inkább abba az irányba mentünk el, hogy 5 év gyári garanciával kapják meg a felhasználóink. Sokan, akik például ezt leasingelik, 5 éven keresztül kell fizetni a törlesztő részletet, ott nem mindegy, hogy egy év garancia van egy készülékre, vagy a teljes leasingelési periódus alatt garancián is a készülék. I'm done, Stefan.
Okay, good. Well, if there are no other questions, we talked about warranty, we talked about additional costs. There are no additional costs. One comment from me in this direction: if you want to install the scanner software on different PCs for some reasons, in different rooms or on 2 laptops or whatever, it's no issue. There will not be any extra charge for another license for the scanning software or something like that. We have no additional charges like this. Just wanted to mention that. There is a question mark. I don't know if it was there before. We can see in full bridge cases where there are only 6 to 7 teeth left, can it make a so precise impression like in pregum? Yes. Also, what can you do if there is non-stoppable thin bleeding in the sulcus? Yeah, that's a good question, and we have something for this case. Thanks for raising this question. I was just want to show what we can do, just to give you an idea. We have a workflow to add an analog impression to the digital one. And that is, time is too short to show it in reality now, but if I am scanning and I can add a scan here, you see this impression button, and this is to scan an impression, negative. You don't have to I don't know, put gypsum inside. You can just take the negative impression, take the information with the scanner, and then mark with your digital model where the data from the analog impression should replace the previous ones. And this is surely normally the margin line. If there is some bleeding which you cannot stop, for example, of course, you can try to do this with an impression. And if you can do it, you can replace the data which you got so far with the data from the impression scan. And you can see if it was successful at the end. If you see the model, of course, the color of the margin line is then the color of the impression. And then you see that it has worked. Thank you for this question. I hope it was answered properly. Gabor, maybe you can check. There's another one.
He just answered.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions, comments? Always welcome.
Maybe you could also add that there is a workflow for implants.
Yeah, of course, we have a workflow for implants here as well, and with some dedicated functionalities like you can. I think I cannot go here now because I have no basic scan, but to optimize the workflow so that you can select the implant position, the scanning position, because if we have not many teeth left and we have 4 or 5 implants of the same shape, it's not possible for the scanner to know on which implant on which scan body we are working. So we can define the scanning area and stuff like this so that the implant workflow can also easily be done. And also another feature which we can see here, sometimes it happens that if you scan a scan body, there is no connection between the bottom of the scan body and the rest of the model. And the software says this is an artifact because there is no connection, and removes the scan body after the refinement, after the post-processing. And you say, oh my God, I've got it and I don't know where is it. And then you can mark this area with this button here. Of course, it does not work because there's no data. And you can say, I will keep this area. That's what it says, keep selected area after the refining, and then it's also no problem. So there's a lot of nice features to do a proper scan body scan.
Maybe it's also worthwhile to mention that you have the option to scan to endodontal patients, toothless patients.
Yes, this is also a workflow which I can talk about, but to be honest, I have not seen it in real life. I only know this theory and presentation. The theory is that in the first step, where we just scanned the first jaw, you scan prosthetics if you have, and you take the bite from this prosthetics. So you also have to scan the inside of the prosthetics. This video is not nice. This is not good. You scan the upper jaw, lower jaw of the prosthetics inside and outside. You capture the bite, and then you have this information. The next step would be to scan the mouth situation, which you can see on the top left. Scanning the jaw. You can see here now, it starts scanning the jaw. And the second step would be, if you have and if you want, you have a functional impression to have a better information about the shoulder, about the compression of the jaw, of the mucosa, and then in the third step you can match the situation of the mouth with the impression scan, if you have one. But as I said, I did not see this in real life, and I have no. But that's the idea how the workflow works, and I think it's really nice. I know they are still working on it and improving it, but this is the idea. And this is a part of the premium software. Brings me to a point to mention that there are two versions, not really two versions, but two, I don't know the English word. You have the ScanFlow software in a basic version and in a premium version. The basic version covers almost everything that you need as a general practitioner. But there are some special things like intraoral camera functionality, like this new workflow, which you can only have available in the premium version. The premium version has a price, of course, which you pay once, and that's it. So no, as I said, no additional fees, no annual fees, no monthly fees, but you can decide if you want to have the full functionality or if you want to have a reduced functionality. And this edentulous workflow is part of the premium version. Okay, Gabor, I think there is no more questions, so I would hand over to you again and say thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. I hope everything was clear. If there are some open questions, just contact Gabor or me. I don't know if you have my contact details, but Gabor will forward it. And maybe most of that he can answer himself. Okay, thank you everybody and have a nice day. Back to you, Gabor.
Yeah, thank you. Köszönöm szépen mindenkinek, hogy velünk töltötték ezt az 1 órát. A webinár utólag is megnézhető lesz, fogunk küldeni róla egy linket e-mailben. bármilyen további kérdés lenne, akkor keressenek engem, ez benne lesz az e-mailben az elérhetőségem, illetve ha jól értettem, akkor a Stefanét is meg lehet majd adni. Köszönjük még egyszer, és további szép napot kívánunk mindenkinek. Okay. Thank you, Stefan, for doing the lecture. We cannot hear you.
Of course, I switched my microphone off already. Sorry. Yes, thank you, Gabor, for this opportunity to present our scanner. And I will step out of the session right now. If you want, you can stay in and talk a little bit more if there are some more questions. And I say thank you and have a nice weekend. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye. Jó, akkor köszönjük még egyszer. Magyar nyelven esetleg bárki szeretne kérdezni? Jó, akkor elköszönök. További szép napot, és állok rendelkezésre.